everyone, and welcome back to another episode of ShadeTV. My name is Marissa Hill, and today we are going to be discussing the SALEHE BEMBURY collab with New Balance on the 2002R silhouette, dubbed Water Be the Guide. Let's take a quick sneak peek. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another unboxing and review. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe right now. Give this video a thumbs up at the end if you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave me any comments or questions that you may have down below. Hit that notification bell because we do have a ton of heat coming out, and I mean a ton of heat coming out that I don't want you to miss out on, as well as be sure to check out our membership tiers. We have some awesome perks on there that you are definitely not going to want to miss out on, as well as an amazing merch store. So as discussed earlier, we are going to be talking about one of the most insanely unique shoes, in my opinion, of this year. This is the second collaboration that SALEHE BEMBURY has done with New Balance. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the OG silhouette, which was Peace Be the Journey, this is a little different of a take. We're going with some different influences, but this is Water Be the Guide. So we're going to go through a nice overview on this shoe. It is quite intricate, so you are in for a treat. Then we are going to talk about size and fit on this silhouette. This is definitely the first time I've done the 2002R series, so definitely excited to discuss how this fit my foot. Next, we're going to dive into a little bit of history on where Bembury pretty much came from. He is no longer with Versace, but we will get into his role with that company in the history portion. Then we're going to follow this up with styling. I had so much fun styling this shoe. I mean, this by far is one of the most unique color schemes that I've ever seen, and I'm absolutely here for it. So stick around for that, as well as Resale. For those of you who don't know, the first collab that Bembury did with New Balance is going insanely well on the resale market, so definitely stick around to hear about how these are currently doing. All right, so let's jump into this shoe. I don't even know like really how to start, except based upon SALEHE BEMBURY's personal experiences and stories and styles. He really wanted that to be the forefront when designing this specific shoe. So I will say that in some articles that I read on him, he did mention that the first collab that he did with New Balance was a little bit of a different experience, just because I think there was a little bit of nerves in it since it was his first time doing a collab with New Balance. But it's, as he says, when you ride a bike, it's very difficult the first time around, but when you get back up on the second time, it's a lot easier. So I think that this specific shoe was a bit easier for him when it came to really deciding on how he wanted to dive into the design of it. And nature is, as you know, if you follow him on his Instagram pages, is a huge part of his life. So definitely it has had a huge inspiration and influence on him, and it's also really what inspired him when he was creating the look of this specific shoe. So with that said, let's get into the frontal portion of the shoe on the toe box and start with the feel of this leather that we've got going on here. So the inspiration behind this shoe is actually the waterfall, Havasu Falls in Arizona. For those of you who don't know me, I know my family and friends know this about me. I am absolutely obsessed with waterfalls, which is why this shoe is actually very meaningful to me, because he really took from Havasu Falls and the movement and actions of that waterfall. And that's why you're seeing this kind of really hairy texture. And it really does show some movement. I mean, if you really think about it and comparing a waterfall to the texture of this suede on the front of the toe box, it really actually makes sense. As we move up into the mesh on the toe, you'll see that this is actually inspired by the sands that basically meet and are saturated by the water of the falls. So I grew up actually in a town called Snoqualmie, which was known for actually Snoqualmie Falls. Also, in another town close by, there was Twin Falls. So I was surrounded by waterfalls my whole life. I had a waterfall in my backyard. So this actually makes such complete sense to me. Whenever I needed to go and think and I was stressed and I just wanted to kind of release the stress of the day, I would actually go and sit on the sands where the water actually meets it. And this color scheme is very reminiscent of what that kind of coloring scheme I would have imagined back in the day looked like. So I think that Bembury really slayed on picking the right mesh color here. As we work our way up to the tongue, you'll notice that the mesh actually is a continuation of that kind of pale pink color scheme. And the laces actually match this perfectly. I'm actually going to pull out the other laces here in a moment because there were 2 additional laces that came with this shoe, but I really do love the teal color scheme with this, just because it gives more of the accents of that kind of water coloration that I think matches so well with the suede on this shoe. Then we've got this beautiful kind of earth tone leather. This is such a high quality leather. I cannot express how much New Balance really does just like an impeccable job with putting the highest quality materials on their shoe. And this tongue is absolutely stunning. This is honestly some of the best looking brown earth tone leather I've honestly seen on a shoe. So they really just killed it there. There's a nice little accent on the bottom as well with that engraved N on the front, just a nice subtle detail. And we've got New Balance running on the center here with more of those blue accents. So let's just take a quick sneak peek at those first details that I just went through. All right, so I brought out the laces. If you are not a fan of the blue laces and you want to mix it up, we also have just a nice pop of green or that nice kind of pale pink colorway, which I think both kind of give it a different kind of perspective on how the shoe looks. I particularly am in love with this blue. I think it's just nice in a subtle tone that really blends well, but I feel like if you do want more pop of a color, this green would be a great option. And the pink I think would blend quite nicely as well, just because it would match that tongue to a T. All right, so let's move on to the side panels. So a lot of this inspiration came, of course, from nature, the waterfall of Havasu Falls. And the basic kind of direction that Salehe was going in was quite different from the OG shoe that was more inspired by kind of dry climates. So this really just kind of changed the palette that he was drawn to more movement, whereas in deserts, again, I was born in New Mexico, a very desert-like place. So I also have lots of background that I feel I can relate to with him on that, where there's just this complete stillness. He didn't want to have that with this shoe. And I really feel like as we move to the side panels of it, you're seeing lots of movement in the texture of that suede. And the New Balance N here is actually kind of raised above it with that extra nice detail of a fuzzy green N. And then we've got hits of that just pop of lime green to outline the N on the side there. Moving along to the side panels, we have more of that beautiful brown leather mixed in there again with that kind of neutral pink for the mesh. On the back side, we've got some more movement here. As you can see, this kind of reminds me of just moving water on the back there. It's a cool texture as well. Then we've got just more of that blue suede, and on the other side, it really just mimics it exactly with the same textures and feels on both the medial and lateral side. Moving to the inside of the shoe, there's a nice cork insole. Then we've got New Balance in SALEHE Bembury in a white coloring scheme. Moving on to the midsole, it kind of reminds me of like splatters of dirt atop the white coloring scheme. And then we've got just nice accents of that lime green. And then we're going to finish off the shoe with the outsole and back portion of the heel, which is in more of a like teal kind of color, which is very kind of aquamarine. And again, the outsole has more of that blue with hints of the green on the bottom and a little bit of white. Now let's look at the last images up close and personal on how the shoe came together. right, so size and fit on this. I am typically a size 7.5 in men's. I do like to wear my shoes on the larger size just because I like to wear thicker socks here and there. I don't like my toes to feel like they're crammed in the toe box region. So if you do like your toes really just hitting at the top of that toe box, I would recommend maybe going slightly down on this one if you also have wider flat feet. Again, I have very narrow high arched feet, so it's a little bit different of a fit. Again, I also like to wear these on the larger size, so for me, I stuck true to size on this one. All right, so now let's get into a little history on SALEHE Bembury. Who is this guy that basically, you know, made his way working with Yeezy, and most recently, but is no more, he's been with them for a little bit, was actually the vice president of sneakers and men's footwear at Versace. So he had the pleasure of working with Donatella, who actually has dubbed him as one of the greatest footwear designers of all time, which is an incredible achievement to be told that from someone like Donatella herself. But he did an impeccable job while he was at Versace, which makes complete sense as to why this shoe is such a beautiful work of art. So as far as some of the projects as part of his tenure at Versace, the 2 chains back chain reaction model was probably one of the most memorable silhouettes that really put him on the map that I can think of. But he then actually did a Apple computer-inspired Versace sneaker, and most recently worked on the Versace Trijeca. And as of December 2020, he decided to part ways when his contract ended to work on his own personal projects, some of those including this project with New Balance, but also working on starting his own company. But I do see some huge things happening for Bembury, and I'm excited to see more collaborations with New Balance from him and other collaborations that he is in the works with other shoe brands. All right, so now let's jump into styling. These were such fun shoes to style, especially as we're getting into the summer. This is an insane color to work into your summer wardrobe. So for the first look, I really wanted to bring a pop of color out in that look. So this is called the Sex Wax dress, and it is a very popular dress. You've probably seen Bella Hadid wearing it, but that dress just pulled so many colors and accents from the shoe that I really wanted to bring out, including the blues and the greens. And so I think that that was just the perfect accented dress to really work well with this shoe.
Come on. Yeah, yeah. Come on. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I don't mean to be rude. Yeah, yeah. I'm just a little different from all these dudes. Okay, they riding waves, me, I'm up on a cruise. Yeah, yeah. You feel like me, then you got nothing to prove. I see him trying to do what I do. Yeah, yeah. Even Mick Jagger couldn't move like a move. Yeah, yeah. You think you're how it look? I'm up on the moon. Yeah, got fresh to death and it came out of the tomb. That's 'cause I got a different type of gratitude. Don't be sour.
So for the second look, I decided to dress it down just a tad bit. And that was just some nice, simple denim jean pants and kind of a darker blue color scheme. I really wanted to bring an earthy tone out in that cropped blouse that I wore. And I feel like that kind of just brownish, pinkish hue tone that was in the blouse really pulled from the brown leather and the nice neutral pink mesh that we had going on in the silhouette.
We did it the long way, check out the latitude. I'm unapologetically fly, I don't wonder why, that's just my attitude. Yeah, that's right, yeah, that's just my attitude. Oh, yeah, I don't blame you, if I was you, I'd probably be getting mad too. Yeah, I know now that there ain't no better dude. Yeah, that's just my attitude. Okay, that's just my. I'm sorry, homie, I don't mean to be flawless. Yeah, I seen that envy in your eye when you saw this. Yeah, ain't when you shoot your shot and make you a target.
For the last and final look, I decided to wear my Awake denim jacket with a nice, just simple sports bra in the same mesh colorway that was on the shoe, matched with a nice simple tennis skirt in white. I felt like the Awake kind of pattern just had a lot going on, but I feel like this just goes so well with different types of patterns. So I kind of wanted to give you guys a more vibrantly patterned design to really intricately add to the design of this shoe.
You getting got, they wanna take all your pockets. Oh, hey, it's a gift, I avoid all the nonsense. Yeah, don't be a hater, it's no good for your conscience. Yeah, you from this world, I'm from somewhere far beyond it. Yeah, matter of fact, man, I don't even belong here. Cause I got a different type of swagger, dude. You ain't gon' find nobody like me on your avenues. Better come get me while you can, I'm just passing through. Ask me how I get this good. Oh, you can blame it on my attitude. Yeah, okay, baby, that's just my attitude. Yeah.
So you let me know, out of the 3 looks, what was your favorite, and or how would you decide to style these?
some air, but it's a toxic addiction. You're a guilty affliction. You can't breathe and you just need some air. Give me all of your lies. 'Cause you're my
All right, so now let's conclude with how these shoes are currently doing on the resale market. So as you know, the OG colorway that was the first collab that Bembury did is currently going between $475 to $1,300, which is insane. But this shoe retailed at $150 and is currently going between $280 to $600, depending on which size you are. Larger sizes are a lot pricier if you're trying to buy these and weren't able to cop on the day that these released, but I do see these actually going up in value because I just think that this is such a beautiful, unique color. As Bembury has mentioned in the past, he is really drawn to just kind of using colors that haven't been recycled and used before. So this is definitely the first of its kind of this blue color scheme that we have not seen before with New Balance. So it's just so refreshing to see that he took that leap of faith and just pulled out a color that he just was vibing with. And on that note, I kind of just want to leave you with his thoughts on the specific shoe. So Water Be the Guide is the idea that everyone needs inspiration to find their path. Bembury has stated, this is something bigger than just consumerism, and this is something that can hold on for the future. So he is so much more about really telling the story, and he really wanted to do that with this shoe. He didn't want something that was just going to be hype for the sake of it, that is like, oh, this is sexy, this is hot. He wanted something that really drew inspiration from his own life that he was able to really explore and tell a story of. And I think that Bembury just did an impeccable job on this specific silhouette. So I applaud you, and I can't wait to see what you have in the future stored for us with more New Balance collabs. All right, thanks again everybody for tuning into another one of my unboxings and reviews. If you were new here today, thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button, as these likes do mean the world to the channel, and be sure to leave me any comments or questions down below. If you haven't hit that notification bell, be sure to do that because we have so much heat coming out that I don't want you to miss out on. Also, be sure to check out those membership tiers and our merch store. And until next time, this is ShadeTV. My name is Marissa Hill. We will catch you all on the next episode.